Alright guys, welcome back to another YouTube video on my channel. Today we'll be going through my round 21 footy tips and big calls plus predictions. Here we bloody go. We're really close to finals and the finals race does not get any closer than this. Alright, let's see how I go in the round 21 tips. I got 7 out of 9 last week because unbelievable. Should have got 8 if the D's won or drawn, but the Saints just came from nowhere for 46 points down to win the game by 6 points. The biggest comeback ever in AFA history. Alright, kicking off Thursday nights between the Dogs and the Giants in a massive game at Marvel Stadium. Dogs, they're just one game out of the top 8 so far after they've beaten the Dons by absolutely a massive margin. They're back at Marvel Stadium and this time it's their home game against the GWS Giants, who have won their past 5 or 6 games and officially ended Sydney's season last week in the Sydney Derby. So this game's going to be a good game because without Toby Green, he's accepted his one-match ban. The Dogs have Bod and the Dogs should be able to get the job done as they have Marcus Bontempelli, Norton, and Darcy. They're just absolutely strong players and a home ground advantage as well. Last time these two teams met, the Dogs got the better of the Giants, so I believe the Dogs should be able to get the job done. Well, the Giants are going to put on a fight. I think the Dogs will be too strong, so I'm going to say the Dogs to get this done by 10 points. And what the big call is, the margin will not go over 25 points. Alright, the next game is another massive game. Again, this time it's in South Australia, in Adelaide. It's between Adelaide and Hawthorn at the Adelaide Oval. Well, look at the Crows. I think they've officially locked in a top 4 spot and will be playing finals this year. Hawthorn, they're that's under 15% out of the top 4. They've beaten Carlton last week in Sam Doherty's final game. The Blues had a fight in the last quarter, but it was the Hawks who were just too good. But Adelaide, 2 smashings in a row. Last week, they beat Port Adelaide by 98 points. We beat them by 101. We beat North Melbourne. Then the week before, they've absolutely crunched Gold Coast at the Adelaide Oval. I think that's Adelaide's 3rd home game in a row at the Adelaide Oval. Look, the Crows, they play so well at the Adelaide Oval. They only lost to Geelong at the AO so far. So I'm expecting the Crows to get this done as they play a much better footy. So I'm going to tip the Crows to get this done. I'm going to say Adelaide to get this done by, let's go 15 points. And the big call is Keys, Phil Thorpe, Rankin, and Tex Walker all combined for, let's go 10 goals. So, one of them kicks 3, one of them kicks 2, another kicks 2, and another kicks 3. The next game is between Melbourne and West Coast at Marvel Stadium. Now, it's very rare that the D's play on the home game at Marvel Stadium. They normally play at the G so far, but there's another game, a better game than that in Melbourne on the Saturday, the 2nd of August. We see Melbourne choked a 46-point lead to the Saints. And West Coast, I don't know when will they win a second game. It's at Marvel Stadium. I think the D should be too strong. But look, West Coast, I think they need a good rebuild if they want to improve next year. So I'm going to, for the safety's sake, I'm going to tip Melbourne to get this done. The D's to get this done by, let's go with 32 points. The big call is Petrarca gets at least 30 plus disposals. The next game is between Gold Coast and Richmond at People First Stadium. Now, look, Gold Coast, they're surging on the way to finals for the first time in their history. They should be able to get the job done against Richmond. Look at the Tigers. They're just absolutely, shocking. Shocking performance against Collingwood in the second half. Led them to a 36-point loss. Don't know when will they win their next game since against West Coast. It's against Gold Coast at People First Stadiums. I think the Suns should be able to get the job done. Well, Richmond needs to play the absolute best if they want to upset the Suns at their home ground. So I'm not going to tip Richmond. We'll tip the Suns to get this done. Let's go 46 points. And the big call is Richmond do not lead for more than a minute. The next game's between Sydney and Essendon at the SCG. Now, obviously, Sydney's season, I think it's officially over as they lost to Giants after being 35 points up, ended up losing by 44. And the Dons, I think both of the teams are playing for pride so far. I've already mentioned Sydney now. Let's talk about Essendon now. Dons have had an absolutely terrible season. Too many injuries, and I don't think they'll win a game for the entire season from now on. Damn, Essendon. So, I know, I'll be surprised if Essendon beats Sydney at the SCG, but I don't think they will. Because the Swans, even though they're a good team, but they won't be playing final. So, I'm just going to play safely and tip the Sydney Swans to get this done. Let's go with Sydney to get this done by 41 points. And the big call is Isaac Heaney to kick at least 4 goals. The next game is a big game at the MCG between Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions in the 2023 Grand Final rematch. Collingwood obviously had a good win against Richmond last week after dropping 2 in a row in the previous fortnight. The Lions, they've recently got absolutely demolished by Gold Coast at People First Stadium. So I expect them to step their game up and get the job done. But look, the Pies. I don't know what to say about Pies. They've been the best team all year. But however, look, they do not have a good record against bottom 18. Against the top 8 teams. So I'm going to take a risk to tip the Lions because I generally think that the Lions may have a chance to beat the Pies at the MCG. Because these two teams also have a good team, but because the Lions beat the Cats and the Swans in preliminary finals and grand final last year, so to win the premiership, and the Lions can beat good teams at the MCG, so they can potentially take the Pies down. You never know. So I'm going to say the Pies 7 points. It's going to be a really close one. And the big call is the game will be less than 15 points less than 10 points in the final 3 minutes of the game. The next game is between St Kilda and North Melbourne on a Sunday afternoon at Marvel Stadium. Now, St Kilda did the unbelievable, made the biggest comeback in AFL history to beat the D's after being 46 points down to win by a goal, thanks to Nazaya Wanganeen-Milera with the final 2 goals. So tie the game and then win the game after the siren. Well, it was any score will do it, and he slotted a goal. The Saints win. So, well, look, obviously St Kilda, I think they have a better side than North Melbourne. Well, I don't know. Can North Melbourne cause a big upset? You never know. They're looking for a win. They're looking for a win now after losing the past 5 games. Well, technically more than that, but it shows the last 5 games shown on my footy ladder. Yeah, they got absolutely demolished by the Cats where Jeremy Cameron kicked 11. So, I think I'm going to say the Saints to get this done because, I generally think that St Kilda is a better team than North Melbourne, unless North can cause a big upset. So, I'm going to go with the Saints to get this done by, let's go with 39 points, and the big call is Higgins to kick at least 4 goals. The next game is between Geelong and Port Adelaide at GMHBA Stadium. Obviously, Geelong recorded a massive win over North Melbourne last week with Jezza kicking an 11 at Marvel Stadium. I just did the Jeremy Cameron 2022 beer celebration at the grand final with 3 years ago, 2022, against Sydney. Now look, Port Adelaide, damn. They've really had a shocking season, and last night couldn't be any worse for them as they got absolutely demolished by Adelaide last week. So I think the Cats were going to get the job done. Well, if Port wins, I'll be so pissed. I can't see where Port wins. So it's at GMHBA Centre, and we demolished them the last 2 times we met them, both at the Allen Oval. How in the fuck had we lost to them at GMHBA Stadium when Geelong and Port played together last year? Who knows? So I'm going to tip the Cats to get this done. I'm going to say Geelong to get this done by 47 points, and the big call is Jeremy Cameron and Shannon Neal combined for 10 goals. The final game is at Optus Stadium between Fremantle and Carlton. Obviously, the Blues season is all but over. Dockers are surging for finals after won their last 3 games in a row against Hawthorn, Collingwood, and West Coast. I don't know. I should be able to tip the Dockers because, look, Fremantle, they play a really good game at Optus Stadium, and they're a really strong side when it comes up the Purple Army. In the Wolfie time, in the final minute, if the game gets really close, our Fremantle home games will help them get over the line. So I'm going to say the Dockers to get this done very comfortably. I'm going to say the Dockers by 32 points, and the big call is, well, Sonny Walters is retired, so let's go Jai Amos, Luke Jackson, and Patrick Voss all combined for 12 goals. So probably Voss might kick the most of them, and then Jai Amos and Luke Jackson will kick a goal or 2 or 3 each to combine it to make it 12. Alright guys, that's it for my round 21 footy tips. If you guys enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video or live stream. And stay tuned for more elite Sporting Lou content to come, alright? Thank you all for watching.